struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program.
Early this morning, multiple explosions were heard at Iran's Natanz nuclear power facility. Iran this morning says that that site has not been destroyed, although Israel this morning saying that that center has been severely damaged. Other reports that it has been destroyed. So Iranian state media today also saying that 3 military commanders in the Iranian regime were killed, as well as 6 nuclear scientists who were killed. And Iran's ministry issued the following statement saying, quote, the aggressive actions of the Zionist regime against Iran could not have been carried out without the coordination and with the approval of the United States. Thus, the U.S. government, as the main supporter of this regime, will be held responsible for the dangerous consequences of Israel's adventurism. Now, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio issued a statement as well saying, quote, we are not involved in strikes against Iran and our top priority is protecting American forces in the region. It was 3 a.m. this morning when sirens blared across the country, waking millions of people in Israel, telling them to get to shelters. The defense minister declared a special state of emergency after this elaborate strike in anticipation for the Iranian attack that would likely follow. And Israel says that Iran launched 100 drones in retaliation. Jordan says it was able to strike down some of those drones over its Air Force, and Israel says that its Air Force, the fighter jets, were able to take out many of those drones before they reached Israeli airspace. Guys, back to you.
Alex, any word if those 100 drones made it into Israel, or did the Iron Dome prevent that?
And so the fighter jets were able to be up in the air and striking down these drones before they entered Israeli airspace, a major sigh of relief for people who, again, woke up at 3 in the morning, rushing to those shelters, waiting for word of when and if it would be safe and whether or not the Iron Dome would be overwhelmed. So we do have a little bit of clarity. As of now, the Home Command has told people they are allowed to go a little further out from their home. They do not need to stay in their shelter or right next to their shelter, but still the streets are empty. People are inside. There is no public gathering allowed today or throughout the coming days, as the IDF warned just about an hour ago that this likely could continue, as again, we are following these new reports of another wave of potential strikes taking place right now in Iran.
All right, roger that. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you.
So a lot of people are wondering, what does this mean for the United States? Are we going to get inserted in this war? What about the talks that were going on between the United States and Iran? Had the opportunity to talk with the president this morning. He said it didn't have to go down like this. I wanted peace. I want to be known as the president of peace. This is why I took a whole tour in the Middle East. He has since released a statement, and I really think it goes into the mind of what he was thinking from the very beginning. This is what the president says. I gave Iran a chance after chance to make a deal. I told them in the strongest of words to just do it. But no matter how hard they tried, no matter how close they got, they just couldn't get it done. I told them that it would be much worse than anything they know, anticipated, or were told, that the United States makes the best and the most lethal military equipment anywhere in the world by far, and that Israel has a lot of it with much more to come, and they know how to use it. Certain Iranian hardliners spoke bravely, but they didn't know what was about to happen. They are all dead now, and it will only get worse. There has already been great death and destruction, but there is still time to make this slaughter, with the next already planned attacks being even more brutal, come to an end. Iran must make a deal before there is nothing left and save what was once known as the Iranian Empire. No more deaths, no more destruction. Just do it before it is too late. God bless you all, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting to listen to the to that statement. You know, there is sort of an arm's length where the president is saying, you know, I've tried to negotiate with both sides, and specifically Iran has not sort of come along. Last night, when we first started getting reports of this, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, warned that this was a unilateral action, meaning that it was not something that the United States was involved in, however much they might have known about it. He went on to say that America's priority was safeguarding Americans and American interests in the region, and that Israel was acting out of self-defense. All of that, I thought, I think is interesting because it is a sort of a more of an arm's length than we have seen from administrations previously. What they're saying is that, we want peace. Israel is acting on its own right now. But the problem is if Iran retaliates against the United States interests, it's going to be a completely different deal.
Well, President Trump said CENTCOM is on high alert and the U.S. will defend itself and Israel if Iran does retaliate. Israel sent in 200 fighter jets. They hit 100 targets. But the world can't allow a #1 state sponsor of terror to make nuclear weapons. Iran's breakout time, we're being told, was about a month. Benjamin Netanyahu said that the military assessed Iran currently has enough enriched uranium to build 15 nuclear bombs. And Iran, through its proxies, they fired tens of thousands of missiles into Israel over the past years. So how would America respond if hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of missiles are lobbed into America? We would respond the same way. Iran was given every chance under Donald Trump to negotiate a deal. They were supposed to even talk this weekend. We're being told Iran is saying that probably will not be happening. Donald Trump told Bret Baier last night that we were not involved in this. Trump was aware beforehand of these strikes, and that he hopes that Iran will return to the negotiating table. They're going to definitely try for that. There are several people in leadership that will not be coming back, he says, referring to the fact that they are now dead.
Yeah, they killed 3 generals. Israel had a successful operation, but I think you really have to look at this 2 ways. Yes, the United States wasn't directly involved, but as the president notes in his statement, Israel has our weapons as well, and we will defend Israel if it's come necessary. He also says that he tried to give them the opportunity to have peace. He warned them that their people would die, that their leadership would die. Just come to the negotiating. You can't have enrichment. You can't have a nuclear weapon. Just sign a deal. And I think once we got to an area where Israel was worried that there could be some attack on their people. I mean, we just had October the 7th. And I think, honestly, Israel would have attacked a lot sooner if a lot of these folks didn't have the hostages. And so I think we're getting to the period of time right now where the walls are closing in. Iran still has an opportunity, although because of their radical agenda and their ideology, I think there will be some sort of response from Iran. But they could put the brakes on this. They could choose the peace that Saudi Arabia and other Middle Eastern countries have done under this administration. But unfortunately, the leaders there, I mean, essentially, the Ayatollah is underground right now, hiding right now because he's so fearful.
Don't forget what Iran's Ayatollah has always said. Yeah. Death to America is not just a slogan. It is a policy, openly threatening to wipe both Israel and the U.S. off the face of the map. And we're also being told that Israelis, you heard Alex's report, that many of them are being told, or they're all being told, to prepare your shelters for long-term use. Many of them were rushing to the grocery store before they had that call to stay home to get water, bottled water, and a lot of supplies.
Yeah, and so, as you pointed out, IDF believes that Iran has the capacity to build as many as 15 nuclear weapons within days.
Yeah, very scary.
They have a matter of days of a ramp up. And so you have to sit here and wonder, this could be, who knows? There have been a lot of cases in the past where Iran has talked a big game and then wound up not being able to match the actions with their words. But if indeed, this is not from just Iran, this is from the IDF, if they are days away from being able to turn that nuclear material into weapons, then we could be looking at days away from a nuclear-armed Iran.
So the president had a vision for Iran. It was really a peaceful vision, just like he has tried to do in all of the Middle East with the Abraham Accords as well. This is what the president said before this attack.
Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. But with that said, Iran can have a much brighter future, but will never allow America and its allies to be threatened with terrorism or nuclear attack. The choice is theirs to make. We really want them to be a successful country. We want them to be a wonderful, safe, great country, but they cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is an offer that will not last forever. The time is right now for them to choose. Right now, we don't have a lot of time to wait. Things are happening at a very fast pace. They're happening right here. They're happening at a very fast pace. So they have to make their move right now. One way or the other, make your move.
Later on in the program, we're going to be having breaking coverage all morning. General Jack Keane is going to be on the show. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and the great one, Mark Levin, is going to be coming up in the show.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.